esteemed guests amongst us. And I say guests with a plural because it's more than one and coming from more than one place. So, I will of course introduce the Swamiji and Acharyas who have come from Patanjali after this program, or after what I am saying, going to say immediately. But I will introduce a guest who is amongst us today. Her name is Uttara ji. So I would request, can you just come to the Uttara Nerurkar ji? She is a B.Tech from IIT, a software professional, of course an engineer, but that's not what we have called her here for or invited here for. She left Infosys after 8 years of service 20 years back, and ever since she has done a comparative study of various spiritual themes or thinking, and after having done that study, she has come to the conclusion that the path shown to us by Swami Dayanand Saraswati and the Vedic path is the one that is logical, makes sense and should be followed. There is a big difference between those who follow it because our parents have asked us to, others have asked us to, teachers have asked us to, school has asked you to, but she is the one who has actually discovered it, or rediscovered it, I must say, right, through her own work, and that rediscovery has found its expression by way of courses she is delivering online, by way of her website, Indian Vedas, indianvedas.com, .net, sorry, indianvedas.net, and these are the books that she has written, 4 of them. So I would request her to share her thoughts in English for 10 minutes, and then we will move on to understanding or hearing Swamiji's thoughts for 10 minutes. Uttara ji.
धन्यवाद. ओम श्रद्धां प्रातर्हवामहे श्रद्धां मध्यं दिनं परि श्रद्धां सूर्यस्य निमृचि श्रद्धे श्रद्धापयेह नः. ओम शांति शांति शांति. Om. It is a real delight to be with all of you today. It's so many of you. I think I've never seen such a large crowd, and I'm really honored to be able to address you today. Thank you very much, Piyuji. So all of you would have heard of this famous Vakya, Buddhir Purva, Vakya Kritir Vede. That means in the Vedas, no, this is good, thank you. So that means that in the Vedas, the construction of the sentence is an intelligent construction. It is not just like that, that words are arranged here and there, but the words which are put have a specific reason for being there. So I have brought for you one Vedic verse, which I am quite sure that a number of you would be familiar with. This is Sarve Nimesha Jajnire Vidyutah Purushatadhi Nenam Urthvam Natiryancham Namadhye Parichakrabhat. So the simple meaning is that all the various splits of time, the various, we measure time in days and hours and months and seconds, all these various subdivisions of time, they have been created by the Purusha. Purusha here, of course, means God. And the word which has been used for him is also Vidyut. Other than Purusha, The other word is Vidyut. Vidyut, you may all be knowing, means electricity. So that is a very strange word, you can say. The meaning which is generally given is that because he is specially lighted up, Dyut. So because he has a special luster, that is why he has been called Vidyut. Going ahead, Nenam Urdhvam na Tiryancham. He cannot be caught, cannot be grasped either from above or from the side or from the middle. Because he has no form, no shape, no substance. God is without any of these. Therefore, he cannot be caught in any of these ways. So this is the meaning which is generally prevalent. Now I will show you what is the special meaning which is hidden in this mantra. So I gave you this thing about Vidyut, which typically means electricity. So why has electricity been mentioned? And in the beginning we have these subdivisions of time which have been mentioned. So I found that in Patanjali's Yoga Darshanam, the oldest bhashya that is available is of Vyasa. So he has said that time is created by the movement of the atoms. So when the atom moves from its first position to the position which is next to it, then you get one kshana, the smallest unit of time, which he said cannot be broken into further subdivisions. It is like you can call the atom of time. So firstly, I must tell you that this is a new concept. Even today in science, we don't say that there is an atom of time. So I would request the young people who are sitting over here that when you become older, you must try and prove this point. Okay, this is a good, you will get a Nobel Prize for it, I can assure you. So that is the first learning we find. Then subsequently, what I would like to tell you is, see, electricity is created by the movement of electrons, you would have heard of that, or the movement of ions. So if the positive ions move in one direction, they make electricity. If the negative electrons move in another direction, they create electricity, Vidyut. So what is being said here is that this Vidyut, this movement of atoms, is what has created time. Today, science is telling us that that time actually is no physical substance which exists by itself, but it is this movement which creates time. Imagine that all movement in this universe stops. Everything comes to a standstill. Will there be any time? Just think about it. There will be no time, because to be able to perceive time, there has to be movement. Today we have a standard time measurement. You might have heard of it. There is a quartz clock which is kept, which the vibrations of the atoms are the ones which determine time. It is supposed to be extremely accurate. The vibrations do not change. The period which it takes for the atom to move, that remains very, very constant. That is why it is used as a standard for time. So that same idea is actually being propagated in this mantra, that sarve nimesha jajnire vidyutaha purushad adhi. So not only should you look upon it as just God has created time. Yeah, sure, God has created everything in the universe, including us, our bodies. So, but what has been brought in is over here is Vidyut, and how Vidyut also creates time. So that is what I wanted to share with you. If you please read the Vedas with a scientific bent of mind, you will find that like this, many things are hidden. If you go to my website and read my articles, etc., you will find some more, lots of more stuff. Dhanyavad. Namaste.
Thank you, Uttara ji. We had been taught in schools कि वेद जो है वो गडरिये के गीत हैं. CBSE के करिकुलम में, in the CBSE curriculum, there is a chapter on Vedas, at least it was there when we used to study, and it would say it's shepherd's songs. She talks about science in Vedas, and she gave an illustration of that. To me, that's a validation of what we have always been hearing in the Arya Samaj hall, and I hope we get more chances to understand the scientific perspectives that have been covered in Vedas. Now, without much ado, I invite Swami Parmarth Dev ji, and we are very, very privileged to have him amongst us.